Today we're going to be talking about 11.4 with spheres. The two different formulas for volume, you're going to do 4 over 3 pi r cubed. So that's a little bit different. For surface area, you're going to do 4 pi r squared. So this one you're used to, not so much with the cubed, but I will show you how to use it on your calculator as well as your phone if you have either one. All right. For the first one, they are asking you to find the volume and surface area. So all you need to do is have the radius for both. So for volume, I'm going to do 4 over 3 pi. In this case, my r is 15 rather. So I'm going to do 15 cubed. For surface area, I'm going to do 4 pi 15 squared. Now, to put this into your calculator, there's multiple ways in which you might want to do this. It's totally up to you. In order to do 15 cubed, what you're going to do is hit 15, hit this function button that says y to the x, and then hit 3, and that gives you 15 cubed. Then you can multiply by 3.14 and then times it by 4 and divide by 3 because that is what 4 over 3 means. So for this particular case with the volume, with the radius of 15, my volume would be 14130, and that would be my answer. For the next one, when I say surface area, well, I should say inches because it actually is on there. All right, for surface area, this one is straightforward. You guys know how to do this. This is just 15 squared times 3.14 times 4, and it gives you 2,826 inches squared. So those would be my two answers for this one. All right, looking at number 2. For number 2, they're giving me a diameter. Diameter, remember I need radius. In order to get from your diameter to radius, you just need to divide by 2. So it's going to be volume equals 4 over 3 pi 8 raised to the 3rd power. For surface area, it would be 4 pi 8 raised to the 2nd. So again, and this time I'm going to use my cell phone so that you guys know how to use your cell phone for this. The first thing that you're going to do is hold it sideways. You're going to hit 8. And then you're going to look for the key that says to the 3rd power. So it says x to the 3rd. And then times 3.14. And then times 4 divided by 3. And so this would be my answer, which is 2,143.57. And this is meters cubed. For the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 8 squared times 3.14 times 4. And so my answer is going to be 803.84 meters squared. And that's my answer. For the next one, as you guys can see, it's half of a sphere. Half of a sphere is called a hemisphere. So the only thing that's different about this one is that because we're talking about half of a sphere, we're going to divide our answer by 2. So for number 3, my radius, as you guys can see, is 7. So I'm going to do V equals 4 over 3 pi 7 to the 3rd power. And I'm going to divide all of this by 2. So in my calculator, I'm going to put 4 over 3 times 3.14 times 7 to the third power, and then divide it by 2. So that gives me 718. And this was inches, so inches cubed. All right, surface area, I'm going to do the same thing. 4 pi, our radius was 7 squared divided by 2 because, again, it's a hemisphere. So in my calculator, I'm going to hit 4 times 3.14 times 7 squared divided by 2, and it gives me 307.72 inches squared. And that's my answer. For number 4, this time they give me the diameter, so I need to take this number and divide it by 2. So 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So again, I'm going to write in the formula. V equals 4 over 3 pi 3 to the third divided by 2. So again, in my calculator, I'm going to hit 4 over 3 times 3.14 times 3 to the third divided by 2, which gives me 56.52. And this was feet cubed. For surface area, I'm going to do 4 pi 3 squared over 2. So that's going to be 4 times 3.14 times 3 squared divided by 2, which gives me the same exact answer. Oh, that should be squared. All right, for number 5, sometimes they're going to tell you what the volume is, and all you need to do is work backwards. So in this particular case, they said volume, and that's important for us to remember. So this is 972 pi is equal to 4 over 3 pi r to the third power. Now, the first thing that I want to do is get rid of this 4 over 3. So remember, whenever you want to get rid of a fraction, you flip it. So instead of 4 over 3, it's going to be 3 over 4 on both sides. So that means I'm going to be multiplying by 3 and dividing by 4. So 972 times 3 divided by 4 gives me 729. So 729 pi is equal to pi r raised to the third power. Next thing I need to get rid of is this pi, so I'm going to divide both sides by pi, and those just cancel out. So now I have 729 is equal to r to the third power. So again, like I showed you before in your phones, if you hold it sideways, all you have to do is hit 729 and then hit the cube root. And when you do that, you get 9. So r is equal to 9. Now for number 6, it's asking for us for the diameter. So I'm going to go back to my paper. And I know that I'm looking at the volume for a hemisphere. So volume for a hemisphere is 128 pi over 3 is equal to 4 over 3 times 1/2, because remember, hemisphere means half of a sphere. is pi r squared. What I need to do first is multiply these. So 4 times 1 gives me 4. 3 times 2 gives me 6. So 128 pi over 3 is equal to 4 over 6 pi r squared. Now, remember again, in order to get rid of a fraction, I want to flip it. So I'm going to cancel these, and then I'm going to put in my calculator. 128 over 3 times 6, and then divided by 4, which gives me 64. So I know this is 64 pi equals pi r squared. You want to get rid of the pi, so those cancel. So 64 equals r squared. The opposite of squared is square root. The square root of 64. You're going to hit 64 and then the square root button, and that gives us 8. So r is equal to 8. Now, if r is equal to 8 and I need to find out the diameter, what I'm going to do is take this number and multiply by 2. So 8 times 2 gives me 16. So my diameter equals 16. For the next one, it's asking for surface area. Remember, surface area is a little bit different. It says that I have 16 pi is equal to, my surface area is 4 pi r squared. I'm looking for my radius. So the first thing that I want to do is get rid of my pi's. So now I have 16 is equal to 4r squared. Then I'm going to get rid of the 4. So 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. And then in order to get rid of the square, I need to square root. The square root of 4 is 2. So my answer would be 2. For the next one, again, I'm looking for surface area. They're asking for, it says, what is the surface area of a sphere? If its area is 49 pi. So this time it's telling me my area is 49 pi. Remember that surface area is 4 pi r squared. This little piece here is my area. So what I'm going to do is my surface area times 4 times 49 pi, because they gave me the area of the circle. So 4 times 49 is equal to 196 pi. And that's my answer. Now, if you want to multiply by 3.14, then it will give you 615.44. It's totally up to you. Now, for your IXLs, you are going to need to multiply by 3.14 for both of them. So make sure you do that correctly. The first IXL you're going to do is surface area of spheres, and then you're going to do the volume of spheres. If you have any questions, please make sure that you message me or contact me through Zoom between 11:30 and 12:30 and 2 to 3. Have a good weekend. Bye.